Oh, musky, 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 musky. That's a musky. That's a musky. Oh. What's up, yins guys? Welcome back to Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. In this episode, I want to talk muskies. I want to talk muskies and I want to talk musky fishing. Now, my plan for this episode is to really talk about and highlight some upcoming events in the musky world, like some of the outdoor shows, some of the seminars that are going to be available. I want to talk about some resources that I've recently found, whether that's through people recommending them to me or just found on my own. And I want to talk about some resources that I've talked about with you guys here in the past. I also want to get in and I want to share with you guys my recent experiences musky fishing. Now, I had the opportunity to take Corey out, which is Corey's my brother. I had the opportunity to take him out for really his first musky hunt, and we made some contact with some fish. It's been a really interesting last couple of days for me because I've just kind of been sitting here reflecting and just really kind of enjoying the hunt overall. You know, when you're grinding through November, December, cold weather months, you know, sometimes it can be frustrating, but it's also the thrill of the chase. It's a lot of fun. So I just want to share my experiences, a couple of clips with you guys, and hopefully you'll like that. So that's my plan for this episode. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let's talk about some upcoming events. All right, guys, to kick off show season, we've got the Ohio Muskie Show starting January 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now, the Ohio Muskie Show is jam-packed full of vendors. And not only that, this is the first show of the season. So those vendors are going to be fully stocked on equipment for you guys to go out and get your hands on. So Ohio being the earliest show, Tony, Grant, and Greg Thomas do a fantastic job with this show. It's well worth the trip out to just pick up some new musky gear. And again, if you haven't really seen one of these shows, if you're kind of new or you kind of want to get into the sport of musky fishing, this show in particular in Ohio is a very good one for you guys to start with. All right, second event that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Muskie Road Rolls. February 9th, Greg Thomas and Tony Grant are bringing the road rolls back to Pittsburgh, and they're going to hold this event. Now, last year I had the opportunity, and Vance Kalaws from Muddy Creek Fishing Guides was down and had some conversations. It was just really awesome seminars, and it was a good, small venue, solid opportunity for you guys to ask questions and learn as much as you can about musky fishing from professionals, again, like Greg Thomas and Tony Grant. Now, this year, Todd Young from Muddy Creek Fishing Guides is going to be in the house. I got to fish with Todd a little bit earlier this fall. I think that was back in September, so we had a good day. We did get the one fish, but the weather was awful, and Todd was out there just doing everything he could for us to get a fish. So super pumped about that. Excited to go to that event and really get a chance to talk to those types of guys, professionals in the industry, talk baits, talk techniques, and just learn as much as you can about the sport of musky fishing. All right, now we also got the coup de grace coming up, in my opinion, Muskie Max. Now, Muskie Max is March 7th and 8th. So put that on your calendar. For those of you that live in Western Pennsylvania, Central Pennsylvania, it is completely worth the trip out. Muskie Max is my favorite outdoor event throughout the entire year. There's a lot of heavy hitters, and we talk about that 79 belt. There are just a tremendous amount of bait makers up and down 79, and really local to this region too. When you talk about Ohio, there's a ton of solid bait makers in Ohio. And of course, everybody knows we've got a ton of solid bait makers in New York. And a lot of them come down to this show and they present their baits. So it's a great event to come out for the family. It's a great way to pick up gear in general, but you also get a look at some of those hard to get custom handmade cedar baits that you can't really get online. So again, check out Muskie Max. That's going to be March 7th and March 8th, 2020. Okay, one last event I want to talk about is the New York Muskie Expo. New show, a lot of heavy hitters. You guys need to go out to the site, check it out on Facebook. Just going to be another spectacular event, and I'm really looking forward to checking that show out. Hopefully we can get up there to New York. And the dates on that are going to be April 25th and April 26th. So give those couple of events a shout. All right, guys. Now, in between these events, in between the shows and the seminars, Muskies Inc. holds their monthly meetings. Now, for Chapter 16, I believe the meetings are held every second Monday of the month. Now, with Muskies Inc., again, you guys get the awesome magazine that comes with it. A lot of good information in here, a lot of pictures, things like that. Really awesome perk to the membership. But in addition, you get the Muskies Inc. calendar. What a cool part of the membership just to get a calendar. You can put this thing up at work. You can put it in your home office. You can put all your fishing dates on here. It's got a lot of the events for the chapters of Muskies Inc. So again, in addition to these perks with the membership, not only do you get the membership, not only do you get the calendar and the magazine, but you get a wealth of information. You know, Muskies Inc., they're going to give you the lunge log, but you're going to be able to go in and talk to guys that have been fishing muskies for a very, very long time. It is a wealth of knowledge, and it's a group of people that are willing to share and help you learn and grow and get better. I am the prime example of that. I've only gone to a couple of meetings, but I've talked to a lot of these guys on social media, and they are just willing to help you. And I believe firmly in my heart that I wouldn't have caught the 2 recent fish that I caught had it not been for Muskies Inc. members, you know, helping me out, giving me tips, and helping me learn and grow. So Muskies Inc., they do a lot for the fish. You guys know that. I preach it. But from this aspect, you know, it's a great resource for you guys. Check out the clubs, and if you can, be a member, become a member, and then try to hit these meetings, because they're little nuggets in between some of these events that really kind of help you talk fishing, learn something new, and get through the cold months here in winter. All right, guys, so we're at a point now where I want to share with you a few clips. Now, here's some background. Took my brother out for the first time muskie fishing, where we're specifically targeting muskies. Now, it was cold. The water temps are in the like mid 30s at this point. Water clarity, you know, we had some rain, so the clarity was a little off. The streams and the rivers have been a little bit high. A lot of our lakes are starting to freeze over at this point, so our expectations are fairly low. You know, I've been struggling all November hitting spots, and I've moved some fish. I just have never really got one to commit yet. So we went out and we started throwing some baits that I felt confident in this time of year. Now, probably a half an hour to 45 minutes into the trip, Corey hits pay dirt. Now, the footage really sucks, and it really sucks because it caught me off guard. It caught me by surprise. I didn't expect us to run into a fish that early, which is the first mistake and a common mistake. I had my boga and the pliers in my backpack, so this footage is a little shaky. It was me running. There's not a lot of footage of the fish because of that, but my thought process was get the release tools, get the fish, you know, squared away in the water, get the bait out of the mouth, everything removed, get, you know, use the boga to control the fish while you pick the fish up, take the picture, and then nice clean release, get it back in. That was my goal. However, whenever this happened, you know, everything just went berserk. So keep in mind, as I'm playing this clip, what you want to look for and listen for is his reaction to his first muskie strike. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. Hopefully you guys like it. Check it out.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Shh. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Can you get it in? I gotta get the... Just try to... Okay, just calm down. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm. Stay calm. Oh, dude, it looked like a big fish too.
Oh my God, that was dirty.
Dang it, I should have just came over to try to help you.
Oh, I had it right here.
I know, I saw.
All right, guys, well, we missed on that one, but the journey continues. So I was able to go out On a recent Saturday, we had a couple of days warm up. It seemed like some of the water temps are still really low. I mean, we're going to deal with that all winter, but I decided to last minute just to go out, give it a shot, throw some confident baits. You know, what I did in this scenario, I was really thinking to myself, grab like maybe 3-4 baits, style of baits, you know, small box of stuff, really focus on those. And my mentality was to go out and find a spot and just hit that spot all day long, as many hours as I could put into it. Because I've been spot hopping and maybe I move a fish here, move a fish there, I just didn't feel like I was spending enough time on a specific spot. So I went out with that mentality, and I had probably one of the most epic days that I can remember having musky fishing in the last 4 or 5 years. So I want to play you a couple of clips. I'm not going to get in depth in this. I just want to show you guys the fish a couple times and really give you an idea what I went through to kind of get these couple of fish to eat. So let's go ahead and roll those clips.
Oh, musky, 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 musky. That's a musky. That's a musky. Oh, yeah, baby, get over here. Oh, crap. Camera. No, stay away from the logs. Stay away from the logs. Stay away from the logs. Yes! 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 Go to work. Oh my goodness. I did it, baby. I did it. I did it, baby. Yeah. Yeah. All right, back in. Back in. Come on, baby. There's a fish right here. There's a fish right here. That was so... Oh, he's got it. 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 Ah! Oh! Barely hooked. Barely hooked. Barely hooked. Barely hooked. Barely hooked. Got him on an 8. Got him on an 8. Ugh. Barely hooked, barely hooked, barely hooked, barely hooked. Oh my gosh. Right. There's number 2. 2 fish day, baby. 2 fish day. Twitching a rattle bait. Look at that fish. Oh my goodness. All right, honey. Time to go back. It's time to go back. There she goes. She's swimming. She's swimming away. Oh. All right. Well, I cannot believe I just had a 2 fish day. Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right, guys. So it's been a real grind. You know, I was able to get a couple of fish this winter, and really it just felt so amazing. You know, I said in the post on Facebook and Instagram, you know, it was almost kind of like being in a dream. You know, you work for something, and it's not hard work by any means. It's complete and utter fun. But sometimes when you're not moving fish or not seeing it, you can get a little down. So really the way I'm thinking about this is, you know, you work hard at what you love and you really focus on getting better. And I think this fall, from my journey, you know, probably back into September, where I started fishing some of these local outflows and river systems, trying to get a feel for like where the fish kind of end up within the system, you know, what types of spots to throw to, and really just trying to adapt to moving water versus a lake. You know, it's been a very interesting journey for me, but for me to kind of end it on the last fishing day of 2019 and actually catch 2 muskies, it was such an awesome thing that happened. And I'm very fortunate that I was able to move as many fish as I did that day and really come in contact with as many fish. And the fact that I was able to hold those fish and then successfully release those fish back home, it was just an awesome feeling. So I really just wanted to focus on that. You know, some of the baits that I've been throwing a lot this year, and this fall in particular, I've been using the little 4-inch Phantoms. So you guys can get a look at that. That's the Canadian Crush. Again, this is a gliding jerk bait, so it's really going to kind of glide side to side like this. So a lot of these baits are actually glide bait. So another bait that I've been throwing that I actually had a fish on, I had a good follow and I lost a muskie on this bait. This is a hellhound. This is a 5-inch hellhound. I love this glide bait. This is a really forgiving glide bait. I really loved it. I'm just wondering how many people in Pennsylvania use these, because they're really hard plastic. They're really durable baits. And I feel like, this gliding motion is very good for beginners. I'm still learning how to throw these, but this was such a cool bait to throw and to move fish on. So if you guys, those of you that are more experienced, if you guys are using hellhounds, drop me a message, let me know, because I really like the experience overall that I had with them this fall. Another bait that I was really high on all year, I threw this bait all year. Now this color was relatively new, so I haven't been throwing it that long, maybe since October, but the Mark King glider, so the Keystone King glide bait, I absolutely needed to have this color. I saw Matt from SB catch his muskie with DJ Customs. Just this color, I needed to have it. So I bought it. I've been throwing the heck out of it. I love it because I can see the bait and I can really keep my eyes on the bait as I'm working it through the water. And, like I said, I've had a couple of follows and I've had fish come up to these baits and try to swipe at them. So really pumped, continue to use them. One thing that I found particularly for December, I've gotten some solid information from guys at Muskies Inc. In particular, Evan Schoss has been a huge help. Charlie's been a huge help. But just in general, just helping me to try to understand when to downsize baits and things like that. So for muskie fishing in December, on small water, the generalized rule is downsize your bait. So as I'm thinking through this and looking at my bait selection, one of the baits I started throwing a lot that I've had a couple of fish move on has been the little 4-inch grandmas. And, there's the 4-inch grandma right there. Pretty cool bait. You can twitch these things. You can pause them. They hang in the water column. If you guys don't have any of these little 4-inch grandmas, you got to go out and invest because they're cheap. They're $12-15 maybe. And you can work these things for pike, for muskie, bass. These are made for bass. So, they're really solid baits. And if you're going to downsize in the colder water, that's probably a really good option for you. Now, one thing that really surprised me about this fall was how many fish I moved on rattle baits. And it really kind of makes sense because a lot of bass fishermen contact muskies throughout early spring. So it only makes sense that a half-ounce rattle bait would move fish. But, you've got a $3 super spot in a Cordell from Walmart. As you guys can see in one of the last clips, I actually got a muskie to eat one of these. And I had a lot of follows on these baits. So, there's a cadence to it. You got to figure out the cadence. But rattle baits, Tony Grant always says it, rattle baits catch fish early season. They catch fish all year long. You just got to be willing to use them. But the nice thing about the rattle bait being versatile, you can kind of pitch this thing on a weed edge. And you can really jerk it, you can pop it, you can vertical jig it. But Corey does this really cool thing with a blade. He'll take the back hook off and he'll actually attach a clevis and then put a spinnerbait blade on there. So what that does to the bait is, especially in streams and outflows and things like that, you can take the back hook off, which will help from getting snagged. And you can put that little leaf blade on there. So whenever you're twitching it and that bait falls, you've got that leaf just spinning on it. So such a cool little modification of these. And a lot of things that I've read about rattle baits is you can take these off when you're in river systems and you can put a bigger hook on the front and just go with one hook. Now if you tee that hook, really that's going to give you like a much better option, so you're not getting hung up on some of the brush. It's going to allow you to fish structure a little tighter. So I did that. I mean, it panned out for me. Again, I feel very fortunate. It was such a cool fall, like last 2 months of 2019, just hitting it super hard to try to catch a muskie, and it actually panned out for me. And I was fortunate enough to have a 2-fish day. So, you know, again, these are some of the baits that I've been working. I just kind of want to talk about them, trying to get a feel for what everybody's throwing, just in general. I mean, I think these are really good options when the water starts cooling down. All right, guys. Well, really 2 things I want to mention before we go. First thing, quick Galashad bait update. I just want to show you the new model that I came out with. Like, that's kind of my new build for Galashad. A lot of the feedback that I've gotten from some of the original prototypes was they're not rounded enough. So what I did here is I kind of rounded them off a little bit more. And then also, if you guys notice, I actually sprayed these. So now my paint jobs suck. I'm still using spray cans, but you know, they're a little better than what I've been doing with the brushes. And, you know, I think it's just kind of cool to see progression. Now this one I messed up a little bit. At least the scale pattern looks half decent. Orange belly, you know, white, black, silver scale, like nothing major. And again, you know, it's not that I'm trying to do this to sell these. I'm really just doing this to have fun and to try to catch fish on baits that I've made. It's an investment. It's a little bit of money up front, but ultimately it's been kind of a really cool hobby, especially when the weather starts getting colder. So I don't know, you guys want to check out bait making. I think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of good resources out there on YouTube. A lot of guys are doing it. A lot of guys are painting, but that's what I came up with. A little bit more slimline version of the Galashad. It's a little bit longer, a little bit skinnier, a little less weight, different paint job. So hopefully you guys like that. I'm always open to recommendations as well. Okay, one last thing, muskie related. I just want to talk about this. There's a number of podcasts out there for you guys to listen to. There are 3 in particular that I've been just listening to nonstop. You guys see me talk about the Fat AZ Muskie podcast. I love that show. You know, Vance, Todd, Andy, they do a great job with it. A lot of good information. It's a great podcast. Go check them out. It really helps you get through winter, especially if you have a long drive to work. Another podcast I want to mention is Muskie Road Rolls. Greg Thomas, Tony Grant. They've got a lot of good information there. It's kind of funny. They do a lot more like funny skits. I find myself laughing more at Greg and Tony for some reason. And it's also really good, and it kind of helps me get to and from work. A lot of good people that they have on. They just really know the industry, and they know a lot of these people, and you get some really good insight into some of the bait makers. But a new one, now Charlie had mentioned this to me while I was out with him recently, which by the way, we were out fishing, and one of the craziest things happened. He actually hooked a carp with a baker. So a 7.5-inch baker. I don't want to play the footage because I don't want to get anybody upset, but it was really just kind of one of those funny things when you're out muskie fishing. I laughed about it. He laughed about it. You know, it's something that I'm always going to remember just because it was kind of cool. We thought we had a really, really big muskie on, and it ended up being a very, very giant carp attached to this 7.5-inch baker. Now, Charlie actually brought up the Backlash podcast, and the Backlash podcast is actually run from the owner of Team Rhino Outdoors, and he's got a lot of interesting people on. They talk a lot about the sport of muskie fishing, and I'm starting to really enjoy it. I watch all the Team Rhino stuff on YouTube. It's just a really good resource for you guys. There's a lot of good, solid information on there as well, but he translates that into a podcast. So it's much easier for me to listen to while I'm driving down the road to work. I've got, an hour and a half commute one way. So these podcasts are a huge part of my life. Traveling to and from work, traveling in the car. We're going to be heading on vacation soon. So, it's one of those things. I'll be listening to these podcasts as I'm traveling. So really just kind of an awareness thing for you guys. If you like listening to podcasts, if you like muskie and muskie fishing, you want to get into it, again, it's another great resource for you overall to get into the sport. So check those podcasts out. You guys will not be disappointed. All right, guys, I leave you with this. I've got the Muskie Hunter 2019 magazine in review. This was a good article. The whole magazine is just, to me, it's so much better than it was. Now, it's coming from somebody that lives outside of that Canadian Shield or the Minnesota, the Midwest area. You know, living in Pennsylvania, we just read a lot about those places, but I'm seeing a lot more localized stuff. I'm seeing a lot more informative information. I really enjoy my subscription. If you guys, it's another great resource for you. Go out there, check it out, get your subscription, and pick up Muskie Hunter, because it's just another way to learn about these fish and really will help you translate that into your fishing. So awesome, awesome stuff. Well, all right, guys, I've talked for forever, probably too much. My voice hurts. You guys are probably tired of listening. You probably turn the episode off. I don't blame you. But with that said, want to talk about muskies before I go away. When I get back, we're going to do some more episodes like lake breakdowns. I'm going to get into the really technical stuff again. That seems to be what people like. And I really enjoy doing the research. So that's what I'm going to focus on when I get back. Give me a few weeks to get settled, get situated, get cleaned up here after the end of the year. And we will get back on that stuff. And I promise you guys I'll stay on it through 2020. So I appreciate everybody's support. Thank you all for your comments, hitting me on social media. It's been really awesome. And I've been able to stay focused on the sport of fishing. And I just love it. I love everything about it. So all right, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button for me. If you guys like this content overall, please subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, tight lines. We will see you next time.